Día en la rutina, luchando sin razón. El reloj me roba sueños, me consume el corazón. Hasta que escucho un secreto, un camino de verdad. 5 noches de esperanza, de cripto y libertad. Es el blockchain que es mi llave, ¿cómo debo proteger?
Y ILCA me lo explica, yo solo tengo que aparecer.
Libro gratis en mis manos, 10 lecciones sin pagar. 5 noches de coraje que me pueden transformar.
5 noches de amor por un nuevo porvenir.
Despierta tu destino, ven y deja de sufrir. No cuesta nada soñar,
Solo tienes que creer.
ILCA te enseña cómo renacer.
Brandon dejó su trabajo, persiguió su luz. Hoy nos guía paso a paso como un ángel de virtud.
Del monedero a la compra, del temor al poder.
5 noches nos regalan un mañana que tener.
Principiantes o avanzados, todos pueden comenzar.
1 hora cada noche y tu vida va a cambiar.
Contra hackers y mentiras aprenderás a luchar, porque tu futuro, mi vida, se merece prosperar.
5 noches de amor por un nuevo porvenir.
Despierta tu destino, ven y deja de sufrir. No cuesta nada soñar,
Solo tienes que creer.
ILCA te enseña cómo renacer. Gratis, real. Solo ven con fe. 5 noches para cambiarlo todo.
5 noches de amor por un nuevo porvenir.
Despierta tu destino, ven y deja de sufrir. No cuesta nada soñar, solo tienes que creer. ILCA te enseña cómo renacer. 5 noches, ILCA, te espero.
Five nights of freedom, you gon' show us stay asleep. Crypto in your future, time to climb the mountains deep. From the shadows of the 9 to 5, we rise and claim our zone. ILCA, the pathway, come build your wealth at home.
bitch, no peace. Come get your mind sharp, knowledge released from what is the blockchain to protecting the bag. We turn beginners to bosses, no cap, no brag. 1 hour a night, 5 shots in a row. Free book in your inbox when you choose to grow. 10 free lessons, elementary flow. You don't need to know nothing but how to show. This ain't no scam, no pitch, no trap. Just pure education so you never collapse.
ILCA, shine enough login. Let Brandon Ivey build your wealth from within. Let Brandon Ivey build your wealth from within. 5 nights to freedom. You gon' show or stay asleep. Crypto in your future. Time to climb the mountains deep. From the shadow of the 9 to 5, we rise and claim our zone. ILCA, the pathway. Come and build your wealth at home. Get what you add a move so you never get stunned. Break the lights out and when do I sell? Day challenge, let us teach you well. Blockchain basis is a passive pay. Break the rules of that old school way. Free to the people, just click and go. But you gotta show up if you wanna know. Standing in the dark, we the lantern glow. Guide you to the light when your pocket's low. ILCA, power in the plan. From the first to the fifth, become your own man. From the first to the fifth, become your own man. 1 hour night. 5 days of freedom. Yeah, the mountain may be still. Time to write a brand new prompt. ILCA, the freedom, the brand new. ILCA, the pathway, come and build your wealth at home. ILCA, let's fly.
9 to 5 stress got me losing my flame. Bills on my shoulders, tired of the game. Heard about a challenge that could change my fate. 5 nights of crypto, couldn't wait. What's blockchain wallet, how to stay secure? ILCA teach me truth so pure. Free ebook drop, 10 lessons on go. 1 hour a night, time to grow what I know.
Show up, don't be afraid. 1 click, your moment made. Ain't no fee, just hard and drive.
ILCA, come feel alive.
5 days to fly, 5 nights, fun dreaming. ILCA gon' show you how to build your team. With crypto on your mind, time to change your silence. 5-day challenge, let your future rise.
5 nights to grow. 1 hour, just show up. Free book, free game. Watch your money flow. ILCA, we lift you high. 5 days to fly.
Come and touch the sky. No, no FCS, let's fly. Brandon broke away from that cubicle chain. Now he's teaching how to hustle with a digital brain. How to buy it, how to keep it when the markets sway. Knowledge is the weapon and we use it every day. Hackers in the dark, but we shining in the light. ILCA, protect your back, keep your future tight. Beginners or pros, we don't care where you start. 5 nights, come learn the art.
Show up, don't think twice.
Freedom comes with sacrifice. Just log in, elevate. 5 nights can change your fate.
5 days to fly. 5 nights.
1 dream. ILCA gon' show you how to build your team.
With grip on your mind.
Time to change your size. 5-day challenge, let your future rise.
5 nights to grow. 1 hour, just show. Free book, free game. Watch your money flow. ILCA, we lift you high.
5 days to fly. Come and touch the sky.
No cost. No excuses. Just education and elevation. 5 days to fly. 5 nights.
1 dream. ILCA gon' show you how to build your team. your time, don't lie. 5 days, ILCA, let's fly. To freedom, you gon' show us, stay asleep. Crypto in your future, time to climb the mountains deep. From the shadows of the 9 to 5, we rise to claim our zone.
ILCA, the pathway.
Come and build your wealth at home.
Tired of that grind clock punch, no peace. Come get your mind sharp, knowledge release. From what is the blockchain to protecting the bag, we turn beginners to bosses, no cap, no brag. 1 hour a night, 5 shots in a row. Free ebook in your inbox when you choose to grow. 10 free lessons, elementary flow. You don't need to know nothing but how to show. This ain't no scam, no pitch, no trap. Just pure education so you never collapse. ILCA challenge, sign up, log in. Let Brandon Ivey build your wealth from within.
5 nights to freedom, you gon' show or stay asleep. Crypto in your future, time to climb the mountains deep. From the shadows of that 9 to 5, we rise to claim our zone. ILCA, the pathway. Come and build your wealth at home. Wallet security, scammers on the hunt. We teach you how to move so you never get stunned. How do I buy? When do I sell? 5-day challenge, let us teach you well. Blockchain based, it's a passive pay. Break the rules of that old school way. Free to the people, just click and go. But you gotta show up if you wanna know. Standing in the dark, we the lantern glow. Guide you to the light when your pocket's low. ILCA, power in the plan from the 1st to the 5th. Become your own man.
5 nights to freedom.
You gon' show us, stay asleep.
Crypto in your future, time to climb the mountains deep.
From the shadows of that 9 to 5, we rise and claim our zone. ILCA,
The pathway. Come and build your wealth at home. 1 hour a night, 5 days of truth. No cost, just commitment. Show up and level up. Show up and level up.
5 nights to freedom, you gon' stay asleep. Crypto in your future, time to climb the mountains deep. From the shadows of the 9 to 5, we rise to claim our zone.
ILCA, the pathway.
Come and build your wealth at home.
Hey, ILCA, 5 noches. Vámonos.
9 to 5, got you trapped in a loop so tight. Bills in your face, can't sleep at night. Heard about a challenge 5 nights long. Crypto education with a sauce, a strong song. With blockchain wallet, buy or sell. We break it down simple, teach you well. Free book, 10 lesson you receive. Show up cada noche. Y 1, 2, 3, ya tú sabes lo que es. 5 noches, 5 pasos. This is how you bless.
Show up or stay broke. 5 days challenge, let the block go woke. ILCA, we don't play. 5 free nights, get paid your way. Show up or stay broke. Free book, free game. Come and stoke.
ILCA,
Remember the name.
5 noches, change your game. Brandon Ivey flipped the script from the grind. Now he's teaching how to grow your mind. No recruiting, no selling, just truth. Crypto tools for your money and use. Hackers in the dark, we keep it tight. Security first, so you sleep at night. Beginners or pros, it's your time to see. ILCA is how we set you free. 1, 2, 3, ya tú sabes lo que es. 5 noches, 5 pasos. This is how you bless.
Show up or stay broke. 5 day challenge, let the block go woke. ILCA, we don't play. 5 free nights. 5 nights. ILCA. Show up. Or stay stuck.
Punch that clock till your spirit goes dead. Tired of surviving while they stay ahead. I'll see you drop the code, 5 nights, no fee. Crypto knowledge in the dark, turn your faith to VIP. What's a wallet, what's a block, how you guard that key? 5 hours of truth so your mind breaks free. Free book, 10 lessons straight to your phone. Just show up and watch your legacy grow. 5 nights or never, will you rise or fall? 1 hour in the shadows, turn your fears to gold. No cost, just courage, come reclaim the thrones. 5-night challenge, build your future of your own. That cubicle, now we lead the revolt. Show you how to move when the scammers assault. Buy it, stash it, flip it, hold. ILCA teach the game they never told. Beginners to vets, you belong in this fight. Hackers in the dark, we bring the light. 5 nights, running, it's your only shot. Show up or forever stay locked in that spot. 5 nights or never, will you rise or fold? 1 hour in the shadows, turn your fears to gold. No cost, just courage, come reclaim the throne. 5-night challenge, build your future of your own.
No fee. No selling. Just truth and transformation. 5 nights. 1 destiny.
5 nights or never, our keys are key. Come break your chains and build your legacy. From broke to brave, we'll show you how to fight. 5-day challenge, show up and ignite. Show up
Or stay broke.
show up.
Or stay broke.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our March edition of our ILCA 5-day challenge. My name is your Queen Connectress, Miss Marnita Casa, and I will be your humble hostess for this evening. Now, there is something that I always like to say, and that is we totally understand there are so many different things you can be doing with your time. My goodness, the nighttime is the right time for family and for preparation of the next day. So the fact that you guys decided to come on out and hear what we have to say, just know that that makes us so very happy. So again, thank each and every one of you for being here. And what a phenomenal place this is. Why? Because we're learning, we're growing, we're actually bringing things to life together as a team, as a unit. And yesterday we had the opportunity to hear our educator talk about the river of money. Oh my goodness, I don't know about you, but as soon as he was done, I had at least 2 pages worth of notes and a fire in my belly to go to action. Every time I hear him talk like that, especially when he's talking with so much passion, it reminds me I need to pay attention to every word he's saying. Why? Because of the fact that his guidance and everything that he teaches has helped me completely change my life. And it's not just me. We're talking everybody here who is on the VIP side. And speaking of our VIPs, hello, my babies. How are you guys doing today? Again, thank you all so very much for always showing up, showing out, and sending that positive energy. It absolutely means the world to us. And hello to everybody on YouTube. Thank you guys so very much for coming back. Now, for my VIPs, you guys should know the routine by now. As you come on in, please type your name and where you're from in the chat box. That way I get a chance to tell the whole world who is here on the cool side with us. And those of you on YouTube, please do the same. As you guys come on in, type your names and where you are from right there in the chat box. That way I get a chance to say hello to each and every one of you too. Now, I don't know about you, but I am super, super excited to hear what our educator has to say today. So let's go ahead and get this started. First up, my goodness, is it my friend Wild Bill Duzinski has his camera on? Hi, sweetheart. How are you? It is so good to see you. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being here and for being a wonderful part of our community. I see we also have the beautiful Miss Patty Geist is in the house. Hello, Miss Patty. How are you? Miss Patty Geist is here and she is representing San Diego, California. Thank you so very much for being here and for always bringing that positive energy. I see my other friend. Her name is Miss Carla Arrigo. Hello, baby. How are you? Miss Carla. There she is. Hey, girlfriend. There she is. Ooh. Miss Carla Arrigo is representing St. Louis, Missouri. Queen, thank you so much for everything that you are doing for us. Miss Carla is bringing people in. She is signing them up, and she is exposing them to this information. We truly appreciate you. I see Mr. Nathan Hansberger is here with us this evening. Hello, Nathan. Mr. Nathan is representing Las Vegas, and we want to give him his flowers. He is actually our first certified student. So Nathan, thank you so very much for being here with us today. I see Roosevelt Thurman is here. Hello, Roosevelt. How are you? He is representing Huntsville, Alabama. I see the beautiful Miss Diamond Daisy is here. Mwah. Hello, Queen. Where's Tiny? Please tell her to come back. Please tell her to come back. Miss Daisy, thank you so much for being a part of our community, and her beautiful daughter, Miss Savvy B. Hello, Queen. How are you? Thank you so very much for being here. I see we have Claire Vose in the house. Hello, Claire Vose. He is representing. She's here. Excellent. Claire, excellent. Hi, Tiny. How are you, sweetheart? Please forgive me. I will not make that mistake again. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. I see the beautiful Miss Samantha's in the house. Hi, Samantha. How are you, baby? Thank you so much for being here. Is Catherine here? I don't see Catherine. If you talk to her, tell her I said big hugs and kisses because I know she's usually here. I see we also have Miss Judy is here. She is representing Canada. Miss Judy, thank you so very much for being here. I also see we have Miss Rita B representing San Diego. We have Elton, my baby, is here. Wild Bill, yes, is here with his camera on. That is amazing. And I see you guys on YouTube. Miss Joyce is here and she is representing Brooklyn, New York. I see Coach Faye Hughes is in the house. Hi, Elton. How are you, baby? I see you. Thank you so much for being here. Miss Faye Hughes is in the house. Hi, Faye. Thank you so much for being here. She says happy Tuesday to everyone. So I see everybody is showing up and showing out. Let's go ahead and get this party started again. Thank each and every one of you for joining us on our March edition of the ILCA 5-day challenge. My name is your Queen Connectress, Miss Marnita Casa, and I am your humble hostess for tonight. Now, it is my honor to introduce you all to a man who is level 6 in the e-estate platform and a strategic partner. This man has dominated the direct sales and marketing arena for the last 25 years. Now, for over 9 years, he dedicated his life to learning about blockchain technology and digital finance, but he didn't just stop there. He decided to go out and share his information with the masses, and he did this by putting on fun and exciting Bitcoin boot camps nationwide at no cost. Thank you so much. Mwah. He has built wonderful communities and thriving platforms like you see before you now. So without further ado, it is my honor to introduce you all to Mr. Brandon Ivey.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Thank you, Ms. Costa, for that introduction. And for everybody else, welcome. You always want to make sure you guys thank Ms. Costa as well for all the hard work that she does behind the scenes and putting into being our hostess. She's a wife, a mother, a business owner, and a published author. From homeless to unstoppable, yet she still always shows up to make sure that we are on point and on time with everything that we have going on. So thank you for taking your time out to be with us for everybody. And everybody else, welcome back. This is day 2 of the 5-day challenge. We've been doing this now for 4 years. Some of you have been here since the very beginning. I was reminded yesterday that some of you, this is your 4-year anniversary being a part of ILCA and our 5-day challenge. We very much appreciate you taking your time and being here with us and still here to learn more. I mean, if you guys think about it, the 5-day challenge, we kind of cover the same thing, the same topics, but there has not been one 5-day challenge that has been exactly the same. Every time we do this, this is different. Uh, Time goes on. We learn more things. There's things happening in the world that impacts the information that we're learning today. But this is information that if you are a beginner or if you think you're a seasoned veteran in the digital space, I can guarantee that you're going to learn something new and you're going to come away from this with a positive experience. And now that we have a strategic partnership with eEstate, this also is going to put you in a position to be able to earn passive income while you're learning at the same time with little to no risk on your part. A very, very safe space to get your feet wet in the digital space. Now, last night we talked about the river of money. That is one of my favorite topics because once I understood that I should follow the river of money, my life changed because I've been following it for 20 years now. 20 years, and it allowed me to walk off my job, retire at the age of 36 in 2012, moved into the crypto space. Inside of the crypto space, created our own company called ILCA. And then from there, all the partnerships that we've had from there, but learning where the river of money is actually flowing now is exactly where we're partnered with and putting you guys in front of tokenization, artificial intelligence, and stable coins. Who was on Crypto Talk this morning where every single article, there was like 9, 10 of them, every single one of them at least had one of those words in the article. Almost everyone had tokenization in that article. Did you know that every bank is preparing for this? Every single Fortune 500 company, Wall Street, NASDAQ is all preparing for this. But this is not possible without other technology. And what is this other technology? It's called tokenization with blockchain technology. See, in May of 2017, one of the things that I learned that changed my life when I started to figure out what is this Bitcoin stuff? I keep seeing people making money with this. How does it work? And nobody can answer the question. Even people I personally knew that were making millions of dollars, and they were in different type of crypto programs. Mining was primarily. And I'm asking them, well, how does this thing work? And they didn't know. One person, I don't know, it just keeps going up. And then I learned that it's not just Bitcoin, but it's a technology that is riding on top of that's the real change, the blockchain. So I started to do some research, but there was no ILCA around that was going to teach me. There was nobody to hold my hand. There was no courses. There was no college courses on this yet. A few Ivy League schools had something on it, but they were looking at it from an engineering standpoint. So I went to YouTube and Google, which I do not recommend that you do. But I went to YouTube and Google. I spent 6 months and I learned two things during that time. 50% of the information that I received was wrong. The other 50% was outdated. It's another reason why I do crypto talks every day, because I keep up to date with this rapidly growing and changing environment. But I did figure out that blockchain technology is going to disrupt every single industry on the planet today, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you trust it or not, your opinion is irrelevant. You're going to be driving down the street. You're going to see some Bitcoin and crypto ATMs. You're going to go into your stores and your coffee shops, and they're going to say we accept crypto as payment. You're going to go into your job, and your job's going to say you need to have a digital wallet because we're paying you in digital tokens. The president already signed a law that all federal employees and contracts eventually will be done in digital coins. This is happening. You wake up every day, if you pay attention to the news the way I do, you see it on a daily basis. So we're going to talk about tonight just what is the blockchain. People think this is a financial revolution. It actually is not. It's a technological revolution where the finance side is getting swept up in it. Technology. Just like the internet revolution, introduction of new technology. So what is the blockchain? Well, a blockchain, here's the scientific term of this. A blockchain is a tamper-proof, encrypted database secured by cryptography, which is the study of encryption, that acts as an accounting ledger keeping track of digital assets. Instead of being maintained by a single server like traditional databases, blockchains are decentralized and maintained by a distributed network of computers around the world. This database tracks every Bitcoin in the network and each transaction since the very first Bitcoin. You could think of Bitcoin as an accounting system. Through the blockchain, it is a way of recording transactions and value digitally in an open and distributed self-clearing ledger. Now, we're going to break that down into more layman's terms. So beginners to cryptocurrency sometimes hear the word blockchain and think that the term blockchain is synonymous with Bitcoin. They think it's the same thing. It's not. However, this would be like saying that smartphone technology and Apple have the same meaning. The relationship between Bitcoin and blockchain is like the relationship between Facebook and the internet. Bitcoin is based on blockchain technology and could not exist without blockchain technology. Blockchain technology preceded Bitcoin, and blockchain technology could exist without Bitcoin. Just like Facebook is on the internet, Bitcoin is on the blockchain. Facebook cannot work without the internet. Bitcoin couldn't work without his blockchain. I broke this down to my father, and I used to say that I made my courses in a way simplistic that my mom could understand, layman's terms, but I also have to explain it in a way that my dad could understand because he still didn't get it. And I said, Dad, think of this. When he was a kid, my grandfather would every year for Christmas would build a train set around the Christmas tree, and my dad has continued that tradition all the way to today with his grandchildren. And I said, Dad, blockchain is the railroad tracks that you lay down first. Bitcoin is the train that rides on that track. If you take the track away, Bitcoin can go nowhere. But if you remove the Bitcoin, the train, the track is still there. You could put something else on top of it. And when I said that to him in that way, he was like, ah. He had his aha moment. Let's get a visual image in your minds. So picture this. There is a digital block that's created on the internet. Inside that block is data. For cryptocurrencies, text data of a list of transactions is inside of each block. For NFTs, text data detailing ownership of digital assets is inside of each block. Every time a new block is created, it is linked or chained back to the previous block. So you have a series of blocks full of data, all chained together to each other. Another way to visualize it is like this. Picture each block as a page in a book. The data inside each block are the words on the page, and the chain is the book's spine that holds all of the pages together. There are various different cryptocurrencies, each with its own blockchain. So a lot of people think that there's just one blockchain and everything is on that one blockchain. No, there are many, in fact, hundreds and thousands of blockchains, different projects. Bitcoin is just the first, the granddaddy of them all. No other coin right now rides on the Bitcoin's blockchain. So for the blockchains of cryptocurrency, the data inside each block is a detailed record of transactions involving that specific cryptocurrency. Basically, each block is one page in a digital ledger. Is there anybody that is not familiar with the word or term ledger? Type it in the chat box. Even those of you on YouTube, are you not familiar with the term ledger? It is something that every single one of you interacts with on a daily basis. The ledger. Well, we're going to get back to that. So how are new blocks added to the chain? In order to add a new block to a chain, a complex math equation must be solved. For Bitcoin's blockchain, basically somebody needs to guess a number between 1 and 4 billion in order to add a block to the chain. This requires a vast amount of computing power as well as some time, roughly 10 minutes per block on Bitcoin's blockchain. The individual or group who guesses the correct number creates the new block and is awarded 3.125 Bitcoins. This process is called mining. But really, it should be called something like creating a new block by guessing the correct number. So when you hear people say, and I'll talk about this more even tomorrow, if you see people say, Bitcoin is made up out of thin air, Bitcoin isn't backed by anything, it's not real. Actually, what they're talking about is fiat money. It's not backed by anything. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by any natural resources. It's not backed by any other tangible asset. It's only backed by trust in the government. And a report just came out. Probably one of the most important financial reports of the last decade that the media is not covering. It just came out today. The Treasury Department has officially, now this has already been in the case, they just didn't want to admit to it, but they officially admitted the United States is broke. Did you know that? The United States has $6 trillion in assets, $47 trillion in liabilities. On a balance sheet, what does that look like? If that was your balance sheet, are you going to be able to buy anything? A house, a car, get a loan, get credit? No, that's bankruptcy. You're in the water, under the water. And that's where the US government is right now. Yet, the government just keeps printing more of this, which is making the situation even worse. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is created through something called proof of work. What does that mean? Well, it's not that somebody is creating Bitcoin, they're creating the blockchain. And the blockchain has a purpose. The blockchain is a recording device. It is a ledger. It is recording data. And once that block fills up, it closes and a new empty block opens. And now that's starting to record data. And every 10 minutes, when that block is filled up, it's closed and a new block is added. Think of it like this. On my computers, I do not save anything on my computer hard drive. I have external hard drives that I use. I don't save nothing on the main hard drive because I don't believe in the scammers and hackers out there giving access to my stuff. When one hard drive fills up, I unplug it, plug in a new one, and keep on moving. It's the same with the blockchain. When it fills up, it keeps on moving. So the next question is, who is building this blockchain? There is no company called Bitcoin. There is no company called blockchain. There is no CEO. There is no government. There is no, there's no Satoshi Nakamoto standing there directing traffic. It's a program, but somebody has to push and work the program. Well, that's where these miners come in. You think of miners, think about the gold rush. How'd you get the gold? You had to dig in the ground to do it. We called them miners. Same process here. And these miners spend their time. They have to purchase equipment. They have to put the program in it. They have to pay for the electricity costs. So all of that to contribute to building the block. And when the block is closed, how do you incentivize those miners? You reward them. They get paid. Their reward is the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is more tangible, more real, more valuable than your US dollar. Another thing about it is it's limited. You see, every 4 years, the Bitcoin block halves, which means the reward is cut in half every 4 years. Right now it's 3.125 Bitcoins. Let's do a pop quiz. What year will the next Bitcoin halving take place? Type that in the chat box. What year? The fact that it is so difficult to add a new block makes it so that no one organization can ever add too many blocks in a row. It will be like the same person winning the lottery over and over again, while only one person has an answer. Anybody else? The fact that blocks are so difficult to create is also the reason why they are so tamper-proof and immutable. Think about that. So now we know what a blockchain is, how blocks are created, and what each block is filled with, a digital ledger of transactions. Only two people, you got inner circle, you guys paying attention. The answer, Judy has the answer. And Clairvaux got it there. 2028 is the next Bitcoin halving. The last one was 2024. Around roughly every 4 years. To understand the significance of blockchain technology, we must go back in time and look at ledgers and their function. So let's go back in time. Again, there's that word ledger again. So all of you guys already use ledgers right now. You didn't know this. Even back in the day, a ledger is simply a documented record of transactions. When you go to the store and you buy something, you walk out of the store with the item you bought, and what does the person behind the counter give you? They give you a piece of paper. What do we call that? A receipt. What is that receipt? It's a documented record of the transaction you just made. Oh, I see Kingdom Wealth Coach got it right, 2028 on YouTube. A blockchain is a ledger. A blockchain is a documented record of transactions. How many of you guys do online banking? If you're doing online banking, you can always look at your bank statements every single month. What? King Keon got it right too? It's a proof of purchase. That's right. Only the receipt that you have in your hand, only two people have a copy of that. You and the store or the merchant who made the transaction with you. And if there's ever a dispute, who's right? I mean, what happens if you want to take that dress back to the store? First thing they're going to ask you for is, do you have proof of purchase and a receipt? And you say, nah, I lost my receipt. But you know, you're the one who sold it to me. I was here yesterday. Yeah, but I need the receipt. No, 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 you don't understand. I was here yesterday. You are the one behind the counter. I handed you my credit card. There's a video camera right there that shows me here at this time. And the lady says, I understand all that. Yes, I remember you, but I still need the receipt. Now you got a third party. You gotta have to go into court. You have to go to, what do you call it? Need a judge, maybe a lawyer. You have to do all those things. And now you've created an entire new third-party industry to make money off of settling disputes. What the blockchain does is now eliminate that third-party engagement. Because what if you can now prove the transaction because the blockchain is open to the public? Everybody has a copy. Everybody sees the transactions that's taking place. Since the dawn of civilization, people have been trading things with one another. Humanity wouldn't exist if it weren't for the fact that humans trade with one another. Even before the invention of currency, tribes and early civilizations would often keep a record of who traded what with who, dating as far back as 5000 BC in Mesopotamia. People used clay tablets as primitive ledgers to record transactions of crops and animals. And how do we even know that now? If that was thousands of years ago, because the way they recorded it, it couldn't be erased. You record something on clay tablet, you can't see it. I mean, you can't change it. It's there forever. In essence, with the blockchain, we're going back in time. Ledgers such as these would also be used to keep track of debts owed. So it was important that they were kept in a safe place to avoid tampering or damage. Ledgers were kept safe inside of guarded temples and palaces, the seeds of the first banks. Now, here's an obvious question. If you're the one controlling the ledger, if you're the only one who has copies and records, because most of the people can't read anyway, if you're the tax collectors, the bill collectors, the harbor masters, you're the wealthiest people in the land. You have all the power. Think of the king's court. How many of you love Game of Thrones? You like Game of Thrones? Who is the most powerful organization in the land? Was it or family? Was it a family? Was it the Lannisters? Was it King's Landing? No. Cersei Lannister had to get a lesson from her daddy about this. The most powerful organization in the land was the Iron Bank. Because if you can't pay your troops, you don't have any power. And how do you pay your troops? You got to go to the Iron Bank to get the money and to get the loans needed. Here's another example, another reason why that report that I posted today about the Treasury saying that we're broke. We are now in a war that is costing us $1 billion a day, and the Department of Defense has requested an additional $200 billion, which means if you're still doing $1 billion a day, that's another 200 days of war. We can't afford that, which means we have to get it in a loan. We add it onto our debt that eventually has to be paid. But back in the day, the king, the court, the Iron Bank, they were the richest people in the land because they controlled the ledger. Later, banks took control of the role of calculating and maintaining ledgers. They kept track of transactions as well as debts owed and kept these records ledgers safe. Except at this point, people were using currency and no longer bartering with crops, animals, and other goods. So enter the modern banking system. For centuries, people have trusted banks to keep and maintain ledgers, which is records that people agree with the information in a bank's ledgers and trust, there's that word, that the information is safe from tampering or damage. Because everyone agrees with the information in a bank's records, banks are often used as an intermediary for transactions between two parties. When you swipe your debit card at the grocery store and the point of sale terminal states that the transaction has gone through, the grocery store trusts that you've paid. The grocery store trusts your bank's records. Both parties involved in a transaction trust that the records of the bank are accurate. If the bank says the transfer has successfully been completed, then the buyer and seller can both trust and agree that the money has in fact gone through. But let me ask you a question. Does that mean the banks can never make mistakes? Have you seen banks make mistakes? at least once a month, I see reports of massive fraud going on in some bank somewhere. Let's take it even bigger. What about 2008? Hmm. Remember that collapse? The subprime loans that the banks were racking out there to everybody, knowing, giving loans out, knowing that they're never going to be able to get paid back and making all that money off of that stuff. So there's a flaw in the banking system. The flaw is it's being run by people. And when it's run by people, that doesn't mean every person is ethical. Every person is going to do the right thing, that they're not greedy, that they're going to look for their clients and customers first and not the bottom line. And when the house came crashing down in 2008, George Bush had a famous speech that financial historians say is really what saved America. His speech, where he calmed the American population down from having a major run on all the banks and saying, it's okay, trust us, we're going to take care of this. And then you had businesses and banks that got bailed out. Why? Because they said they were too big to fail. Because if they failed, it would cause a chain reaction and collapse Western civilization. Everybody's losing their jobs and whatnot. And they were able to save it, but it was only a short-term gap. But in that process is when Bitcoin was born, when blockchain, when the white paper was written, when we realized, you know what? We can't trust them. We need to have a system that is set apart from human interaction. Here's going to be the next greatest frontier of a question because you guys hear me talk about artificial intelligence all the time and artificial intelligence being able to make decisions independent of human interaction. But the main question to ask is, what human is feeding that AI information and whose values is it following? That is a legitimate question. See, when you're talking about the blockchain, it's based on math, not reasoning. 2 plus 2 will always be 4, not alternative facts where it's going to be 5 and because you believe it, it makes it so. So that's going to be the next frontier. Mark my words. That question right there. Who is feeding the information for AI and what values is it following? Here's the pros and cons of using banks and their ledgers. Banks add a level of trust and security to transactions. This is why banks have been around for hundreds of years. The downside to this is that banks and their governments have the power to monitor and control people's money, as well as put their hands in people's pockets with fees, especially when transferring money international and or converting fiat currencies. So the issue is for centuries, we have been trusting banks to keep ledgers of who owns and owes what. But at the same time, we've been sacrificing some of our privacy, independence, and percentages of our wealth and fees because we don't think we have another choice. How many of you guys you're on your job, direct deposit, and it goes straight to your bank? Or here's a better question. Be honest with this one. How many of you receive your money in cash when you're working a job? The first or the 15th, you walk in, they don't give you a check. It's not direct deposit. They just hand out the cash to you. Outside of construction and any type of work, they may do that. When was the last time you got paid on your job in cash? Now, it's been a while since I've had a job, but when I think back, going back to even my very first job, it was the best job I ever had in my life, where I was a lifeguard at Raging Waters, and I was like, y'all want to pay me to stand in a water park all day and go around slides for free and look at girls in bikinis all day? That was the best job ever. But even my very first job, I never got paid in cash. I can go way back to when I used to live in Rialto as a kid on our cul-de-sac. And us neighborhood kids decided to have our own business where we collected cans and we would mow the neighbors' lawns and we would wash cars for like $10. And we used that money to go to the, ice cream shop and the arcade and stuff like that. And we thought we was doing business big. Oh, wait a second. I did it later again in college. I was the movie man in my dormitory and I collected cash. That was the only time. So using a bank, do you know the bank charges you money for the right to hold your money? So you pay the bank for them to hold your money. You're paying the bank for them to invest your money. You pay the bank when you want to withdraw your money. You pay the bank monthly fees just for it to be able to sit in there. And then we trust them to make the right decisions with our money. What if there was a better way? What if there was some form of modern technology that could help us get the best of both worlds? What if we could have security, trust, while at the same time also have a financial privacy, autonomy? We would need a secure ledger that everyone could trust and agree on, and that wasn't able to be controlled, interfered with, or manipulated by any person or institution. Enter blockchain technology. Blockchains are distributed and publicly accessible. A blockchain is a digital ledger, but it is a ledger that everybody has access to. Yet nobody can tamper with or control. Historically, ledgers and records have been centralized, locked up, and stored by one institution that has access and control. For cryptocurrencies, the entire ledger is out in the open and accessible to everybody. And this is why Bill Gates said in 2014 that Bitcoin is freedom. This is fair. People who look like me have asked for one thing since the end of slavery. Not a handout, not a leg up, not something extra. We ask for one thing: equality. The right to be treated equal. The right to be able to compete equally without any barriers in front of us. You might have heard the term, we got to work 2 times harder than everybody else just to be recognized. And even then, no matter how great you are, you'll still be considered a DEI hire when most people don't even understand what that word means. The blockchain, on the other hand, doesn't care if you're a man, woman, child, black, white, Latino, Asian. It doesn't care what language you speak. It doesn't care what your college degree is. It doesn't care if your family's connected, if your daddy owns the company. It's a program. 2 plus 2 is 4. Regardless if you're a Republican or a Democrat, it is fair. And then it comes down to, at the end of the day, how hard are you willing to work? And that's all I ask for. That's why Bill Gates said, blockchain, Bitcoin is freedom. Blockchains are also anonymous. So some of you may say, well, I don't want everybody knowing my business. I like at least my bank is keeping things private, right? I don't want everybody to know what type of transactions I make. Great, because nobody's going to know that with the blockchain. It's anonymous. When you look at the Bitcoin blockchain, you will notice that you don't see the names, email addresses, or any information about the sender and receiver. All you see are transaction hashes and wallet addresses. Your name is not on the wallet addresses. Your personal information is not on the wallet addresses. So they don't know who it belongs to. It is almost impossible to determine someone's identity based on these strings of random letters and numbers. And you have to use the word almost because those that are operating on a centralized exchange, and then decentralized. If you're on a centralized exchange, especially in the United States, you got to go through KYC. So you're basically telling them who you are at that point. But the blockchain is built to be decentralized. This is the paradox of Bitcoin. Everybody can see all of the transactions, but nobody can see who is doing the transactions. Blockchains are decentralized. For almost every major cryptocurrency, nobody owns or controls the ledger, the blockchain. The blockchain is available for anyone in the world to see, no matter where they are. Having a decentralized ledger plus the inherent security of a blockchain eliminates the need for an institution, bank, or government to be the middleman. Having a transparent distributed ledger or blockchain means that cryptocurrency is open to everybody on the planet. An entire 31% of adults in the world do not have access to a bank account. But if they have access to an internet connection, then they can access cryptocurrencies, which is another reason why Larry Fink is so excited. Is there anybody out there that does not know that name, Larry Fink? Do you understand that he controls, under management, more than $13 trillion worth of assets? That's more than double the United States government. So when he speaks and moves, do you think you might want to pay attention to the things he's doing? I'm following what they're doing very closely. Not what they say, what they do. And all he sees is 31% of the world's population I will now be able to do business with. Blockchain blocks require majority agreement to be valid. So what makes a blockchain so secure is the fact that it is distributed. There are multiple live versions of each blockchain. If somebody is able to tamper with even one block on his live version of the blockchain, then everyone else will instantly see that it doesn't match up with the other live versions and it will be discarded. As long as more than 50% of the live blockchain versions or nodes agree on something, the versions that are different are identified as false and ignored. This all happens very quickly. Blockchain blocks are essentially immutable. Every 10 minutes, a new block is created on the Bitcoin blockchain. This block is filled with data of recent Bitcoin transactions. The data in the block shows a list of wallet addresses that have sent Bitcoin to other wallet addresses, as well as the amount of Bitcoin sent. Once the block has been mined and the data is written inside, the block is closed and becomes added to the end of the blockchain. At that point, it is almost impossible to edit, modify, or remove. It's like writing in wet cement. And once the cement hardens, the information written will be there forever. The block is basically immutable, just like writing on those clay tablets that our ancestors did 5,000 years ago, that we can still see those transactions today. If you ever really studied Mesopotamia, they had detailed records of everything that they were doing that we could still see 5,000 years later. Now the blockchain's the same thing. Once it's closed, there's no going back and edit it, but there was a word that said it almost impossible. Well, what does that mean? Well, is it possible to hack the blockchain? No, but yes. If one individual or organization were able to gain control of 51% of the computing power of a blockchain, then they would be able to double spend their coins. That means they could spend their coins, then delete that transaction and spend the coins again. When I was a starving student back in the day, and I'm not proud to say we did this, but we did this with, yeah, I can say it now, years removed, with snack vending machines. We figured out how to tape a string onto a dollar, stick it in the machine, choose what we want, and then pull that dollar right back out. And then do the same thing over and over and over again. Hey, don't fault me. Hey, we were starving college kids at the time. We also kind of did the same thing with MARTA, because we had to have a quarter or a little token we put in there, and we figured out how to manipulate the turnstile so that two people could go through for the price of one. But the blockchain, is that possible? Well, to mount a successful 51% attack on a large cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin would require an astronomical amount of computing power, costing billions or tens of billions of dollars. So here's another pop quiz. When one block is closed, how many Bitcoin is rewarded? Type that in the chat box. When one block is closed, how many Bitcoin is rewarded? Anybody know that real quick? CJ got it, 3.12. That's right, 3.125. And what is the cost of Bitcoin right now? Is it right around 70,000? So 70, 140, 210? So $210,000. Would you be willing to spend billions of dollars only to receive $210,000? And for that to be corrected and thrown out almost immediately? There's only one person in the world, in my opinion, that is crazy enough and has the resources to pull something like that off just to say he did. Only one person. You guys got that. Musk. Elon Musk. I don't think he would, but he would be crazy enough to try to do that. But it would be immediately caught and discarded anyway. There are estimated to be over 1 million Bitcoin miners in the world today. Somebody would need to generate the computing power of over 1 million other miners to be able to temporarily tamper with the creation of the current Bitcoin block. A 51% attack on Bitcoin would be outlandishly expensive. Here's some other use cases of blockchain technology. Because blockchain technology is by nature secure, anonymous, immutable, and decentralized, it is being eyed for other applications beyond only crypto. And this is where it gets big. Another reason why, even though for years I called my company Ivy League Crypto Academy, using the term crypto is too small. Digital is the new word. What about using the blockchain to cast votes in an election? The United States of America has the most secure elections on the planet, yet this is a country that half the country believes that our elections are being compromised. Unfreaking believable. Remember what I talked to, who watched my live earlier today, where I was talking about the 4 levels of consciousness? Yeah, it's those level 1 and level 2s that will defy all logic and facts and will only go with what they want to believe. Facts be damned. But so be it. We have half the country that believes our elections are being rigged some kind of way. Yet one party controls every part of government and they still believe the election is being rigged. Only if they lose is it being rigged. But you want to make it fair? Put voting on the blockchain. If you put voting on the blockchain, you eliminate anybody for saying any excuse why they think election is being rigged. There's illegals voting. There's dead people voting. My cat and dog voted. There's people voting 2 or 3 times. None of that is possible. But let me tell you something. Where I say that blockchain technology will disrupt every industry, voting, it will be the last industry. It'll be the last thing the blockchain takes over because people like it the way it is in America. Especially the states. It's a major part of states' rights, their ability to run their own elections. So that's going to be the last, but that's a major thing. You want to make it fair, put it on the blockchain. Using a blockchain to keep track of medical data. Oh, that is, I will be eventually writing a whole course on just that. Using a blockchain to keep track of the supply chain of food. I already have stuff courses on that. Supply chain management. That is another huge thing, especially with AI and Internet of Things. Using a blockchain to store authentic pieces of digital art. That's probably one of the biggest. In other words, that's tokenization. NFTs is just the beginning. Digital art is just just the beginning. Tokenization, it is everything. Using a blockchain to store personal identification information. How many times do we hear, oh, we had a data breach at a bank. We had a data breach at Facebook or your credit card company or your medical records or something like that. What about the blockchain stores personal identification information through tokenization? What about using a blockchain to store important deeds? Such as for land or a home. Oh, I don't know. There's something called e-estate that is using the blockchain right now to record those of you who have acquired tokenized assets. Wow. We put this together in 2018, and here we are 2026, and we're living it. Wow, that actually kind of just hit me right now. As a disclaimer, this information is intended for educational and training purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice. As with all financial decisions, you should contact your licensed financial advisor before investing in any financial instrument. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of our lesson tonight. I wanted to make sure I was done before the top of the hour because there is an e-estate presentation taking place in about 4 minutes with Anthony and Mike. So you know what to do now. We're going to go into Q&A. Anybody that has any questions, go ahead and raise your hand. Unfortunately, those of you on YouTube, I have to shut off the YouTube link. The Q&A is only for the VIP members because this is private. But you're invited to be a VIP member. I let you guys listen to the Q&A last night. But be a VIP member. Get back to the person who invited you, or go back to the websites where you registered for the 5-day challenge, and you will have the opportunity to join our inner circle, be on the cool kids side and the VIPs. We will be back tomorrow night. Now that you know what blockchain technology is, we're going to be covering what are cryptocurrencies that is actually riding on top of blockchain technology. That's going to be tomorrow night. So with that, thank you guys on YouTube for being with us tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Let me close off the live stream. Oh, how do I do this? This is new. Remind participants to watch.